Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving right into the first part, or juz, of the Quran. We're going to take a journey through the prayers, the stories, and the major figures that really lay the foundation for the entire text.
Okay, so here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to kick things off with the Quran's opening prayer. Then we'll look at the 3 different ways people tend to respond to its message. After that, we'll get into the stories of creation and humanity's very first promises, learn from some major trials, and wrap it all up with the incredible legacy of Prophet Ibrahim. So we start right at the beginning with a chapter called Al-Fatihah, or the opening. And, this short chapter is so powerful. It's not just some introduction. It's really considered the absolute essence of the entire Quran, all packed into a single direct prayer to God.
And it's called the opening for a good reason, not just because it's first, but because it's also known as the mother of the book. Think of it like the key that unlocks everything else to come. All the big themes are right here: who God is, what our relationship with Him is all about, and how to find our way.
What's so amazing is how it breaks down the prayer into a real conversation. It flows so naturally, It starts with praising and recognizing God's power, then it moves to this really personal commitment. It is you we worship and you we ask for help, and it all leads to the single biggest request in the entire Quran: guide us to the straight path. So, right after this huge prayer for guidance, the text immediately lays out 3 totally distinct ways people respond to that call, and this becomes a kind of framework for understanding human nature that you see again and again throughout the Quran.
And here they are, these 3 groups. First, you have the believers, the ones who hear the message and accept it. Then you've got the disbelievers, who openly and consciously just say, nope, not for me. But then this third group is introduced, the hypocrites. And they're described as the most dangerous because on the outside they look like believers, but on the inside they're hiding their rejection.
Okay, so we've got the prayer and we've got the different reactions to it. Now the narrative zooms all the way back to the very beginning of humanity. It explores our origins and our foundational relationship with God, which is all defined by this sacred promise, or what's called a covenant.
We jump right into the story of Adam, and it's this huge cosmic moment. The Quran describes God announcing to the angels his plan to place a Khalifa, a successor or a steward, on earth.
This verse is so key. It establishes humanity's special role right from the get-go. We're not just another creature on the planet. We've been entrusted with this unique responsibility and authority. It's a theme that just keeps coming up.
So from the story of all of humanity, the narrative then kind of zooms in to focus on one specific community, the children of Israel. They're spoken to directly, reminded of all the special favors God gave them, but also reminded of the covenant, the promise they made in return for all those blessings.
You see what's happening here? It's making it clear that divine favor isn't unconditional. It's tied directly to being faithful and holding up your end of the bargain. It's a really powerful statement on accountability. All right, now we get into a series of stories that are basically like powerful case studies. They show the real-world challenges of having faith, why obedience is so important, and the consequences of being deceptive.
One of the most unforgettable stories in this whole section, and it's the one that gives this super long chapter its name, Al-Baqarah, or the cow, is all about what sounds like a really simple command.
This is it. This is the moment. This instruction from God, passed down through the prophet Moses, became this huge test of faith and obedience for his people. And their reaction revealed a lot about their real attitude towards God's commands. The big takeaway here is how it shows the difference between asking a real question and just arguing to get out of doing something. There are endless questions about the cow's color and its age and what it looked like. It's all shown as a sign of weak faith. They basically made a simple job way harder for themselves. Now, this section also covers another major test for the early believers, changing the Qibla, or the direction of prayer. Just like the story of the cow tested their obedience with a command that seemed a little weird, this command to suddenly switch from facing Jerusalem to facing the Kaaba and Mecca was a huge test of their loyalty. It really solidified the community's own unique identity. So after all these examples of guidance, rejection, and trial, our final section brings us to the main event, really, the figure of Abraham. He's presented as the ultimate role model, an imam, a leader for all of humanity.
I mean, just look at the kinds of tests Abraham went through. Each one was designed to push his faith to the absolute limit. It tested his sense of belonging, his physical survival, and even his love for his own child.
And every single time, he showed this incredible, unwavering commitment to God.
And because he passed all these intense trials, God gave him this completely unique honor. He wasn't just a prophet for his own people or his own time. God declared him a spiritual leader for all nations for all time.
And this verse just brings everything full circle. Remember that straight path we heard about in the very first prayer? Well, here's the perfect human example of it. Abraham's path was all about pure monotheism, worshiping only one God, and complete submission to him.
So, as we wrap up this journey through the first part of the Quran, from that opening plea for guidance, to all the stories of trial, to the ultimate example of faith in Abraham, we're kind of left with this final thought to ponder for ourselves. What does it really mean to follow a straight path in our own lives today?